Hi guys, it's Lainey. I want to talk about why people go back to their ex because when you really understand it, it's not as irrational as it looks. People act like a breakup should erase the connection, but it usually doesn't. Once you've been emotionally involved with someone, especially if there was chemistry, history, and attachment, that bond doesn't just vanish because the relationship ended. It lingers. I think of it as an invisible entanglement, that feeling of being tied to someone in a way that makes them much harder to fully disconnect from than you expected. That's part of why exes come back. Familiarity has a pull. Human beings are drawn to what they already know, and an ex represents known territory. You already know their face, their voice, their body language, their patterns, their energy, and how it felt to be with them. A new person may be exciting at first, but new also means uncertain. An ex feels familiar, and familiar feels safe, even when it wasn't perfect. There's a reason people live out the idea that the devil you know feels easier than the devil you haven't met yet. The other thing that happens is memory starts playing tricks. As time passes, people often stop feeling the sharp edge of what went wrong and start remembering the warmth of what felt good. The fights and disappointments lose some of their emotional charge, while the laughter, sex, comfort, and sense of connection stay vivid. So someone who swore they were done can later start idealizing the relationship and remembering it through a much softer lens. Then reality finishes the job. They date someone else or they try to move on, and now they have a comparison point. New doesn't automatically feel better. Sometimes it feels awkward, unfamiliar, disappointing, or emotionally flat. And that's when the ex starts glowing in their mind, because now the old relationship isn't just a memory, it's a contrast. They start missing the comfort, the rhythm, the inside jokes, the history, the feeling of being known. What looked finished starts feeling unfinished. That's why people go back. Not always because the relationship was healthy, and not always because they've changed, but because attachment is stubborn, familiarity is powerful, and memory is selective. And this is not rare. Research often cited in relationship psychology suggests that around 40 to 50% of people have reunited with an ex at some point, and studies of young adults have found that nearly half report at least one breakup followed by a reunion. At the same time, on-again, off-again relationships tend to have more conflict and lower relationship quality than relationships that never broke up. So yes, people go back, but whether they stay depends on what actually changed. If the same problems are still there, the familiar comfort may pull them back in, but it won't necessarily keep them there. That's the part people usually learn later.